Some say they have seen a gigantic living being, several stories high. We're all going to die. Oh no, run if you can, 'cause Tokyo, Japan is in for big trouble. Looks like Godzilla is real, and once he gets here, he'll reduce things to rubble. There's no time to pack. Run and don't look back. Careful where you hide. Many won't survive. By now he's well on his way, and you're gonna pay if you don't get to racing. But look up in the skies, we're facing demise from an alien invasion. Yes, he is destructive, and we hope he won't advance. But as it turns out, he might just be our only chance. Save the lizard, he will make a stand. City filled with screams and deadly laser beams. A full-scale attack. Can he hold them back? This is a dangerous place. The cities will waste. Battlegrounds epic. Both sides are pummeled and fried with nuclear eyes and death rays electric. Yes, he is destructive. We have seen this in the past. But as it turns out, it's an advantage that he has. Save the lizard, he will kick their ass. The air has gotten thick with broken glass and steel and brick. The aliens are no more. Hear Godzilla's mighty roar. And so the battle was won, and when it was done, he retreated to the ocean. And if we're ever attacked, I bet he'll be back, at least that's what I'm hoping. Yes, he is destructive, partly from gargantuan girth. But as it turns out, you know it could have been much worse. Save the lizard, he will save the earth.
Hey everybody, welcome to the chat. My name is Bryce L. Tomlinson, and let me get this going live here. So, how is everybody? Let me get this correct here. Hey, there we go. And we'll get this show on the road. Welcome to the chat, everybody. Hey, Vengeance is in the house, moderating over there on the YouTube side. Thank you, Vengeance. How's it going? It's going well over here. We have the chat window for Facebook right here. So if you are over on the Facebook side chatting and watching this on Facebook, it's right there. And then, hi, Sherry. And then up here, we have the YouTube and Twitch stream right there. And you can see the difference here. So right here, it says BroBryceHealth, and that was on Twitch. So it has the little Twitch icon, and then Vengeance has the little YouTube icon there. Welcome, Lena. Hi there. And let me go over here, and yeah, I guess I can't pause that over there. But welcome Welcome to the stream. Today we're going to be talking about upping your keto game, and we're going to do live Q&A. So any of you guys who have questions about refining your keto approach and all of that business, we're going to get into that, and I'm going to do my very best to answer your questions. But just to let you know, I am not a doctor. I am not a medical professional. And if you need medical advice, you should seek out a medical professional, not someone like myself who is not a licensed medical professional. I'm not a registered dietitian or nutritionist. I am just a citizen scientist who happens to have done thousands and thousands of hours of studying, reading studies, and reading abstracts, and following lots and lots of medical doctors and asking lots and lots of questions. So, like you, I learned from people smarter than me. I learned from people who are further along in their journey than I am, and that is my approach. So I tend to try to be that person for other people that other people have been for me. So we do have a few people in the chat, and I'm going to go over here and check this. I will be periodically switching back and forth between windows and stuff. Your brother's talking to you. See a ghost in a concert in a couple of days. Okay. Yeah. So let's keep it keto, guys. And I know that some of you are really wanting to, you know, Lena, I feel very comfortable making that disclaimer. I think it's important that people do make that disclaimer. I mean, I guess it's sad that some people feel the need to come after people like me, but you know what? I think that it's important that we do clarify that I'm not a medical doctor and that I'm not a medical professional. So I do feel that that is important. I've always kind of felt that's important. So anyway, guys, so today I want to talk about the journey and the various like level up stages that you reach as you're doing your keto journey. And I know we like say these cliche things like journey, your keto journey, your weight loss journey, and these things. I know when we start out, hi Denise, when we start out, we're just like we just found this thing, and we decided to try it. We decided to pull the trigger. And there wasn't a journey when we first started out. And then as we kind of came along the way, we ended up like adopting a lot of the terminology that people use in weight loss, like way of eating, way of life. It's not a diet. Technically, clinically speaking, it is a diet. Like a pig has a diet, a cow has a diet. We have a diet. So, you know, it is actually okay to use the word diet because it's kind of what it is. But we adopt all these different terminologies, and we also adopt certain doctrine having to do with our dietary approach. That's what I like to call it, a dietary approach, because it is more diet than anything else. I mean, you know, way of life, you know, I could be talking about bicycling. You know, Denise and me, we have that one thing in common. We love to cycle. And my folding bikes are back in the shop again, getting more love. But I want to talk about those various level up stages that you reach as you are doing your dietary approach, as you're doing your fitness approach, as you are doing your keto approach. So I know that when we first start out, when I did anyway, I used all kinds of products, right? I used all sorts of keto products and low carb products, different kinds of supplements, and I used protein powders. In fact, I wanted to try this one recipe when I first started keto, and I decided to like buy all the ingredients not knowing how much I would actually use. And it turned out like half the ingredients that I bought for this one recipe, I just never used them. Vengeance asks, what do you think of the keto trend? Other people don't like that keto is trending, so I want to hear your opinion. I think the keto trend is good and bad. So let me clarify that. I think that keto in and of itself, the ketogenic dietary approach, is a good thing. I think that all of the trendy products that have come out as a result of it are not necessarily helpful, and they give it kind of a multi-level marketing type of a thing. And I noticed that a lot of people who add me as a friend on Facebook or elsewhere, because I have connections in the keto community, they immediately want to sell me something, or maybe they think that I want to sell them something. I'm not sure about that. That part of it I think is bad. And I do think that, like, for instance, exogenous ketones might be therapeutic for people who absolutely have to have a supplement of ketones to be able to, like, suppress certain autoimmune disorders or something like that. But I think for the most part, those people should try out just the food approach first. And I think that the fact that we have many major keto figures pushing or wearing t-shirts, Keto OS, Prove It, all those things, I think that's not super productive. However, the fact that the ketogenic lifestyle, the real food approach, is getting more attention, that is a good thing. So it's a double-edged sword. Sherry says, I gave up on products right away. Every one of them made me sick. Sherry, I've been meaning to ask you, and I hope that you'll share it in here. We were talking about everything in moderation, right? So when we did that, you know, the subject came up about Truvia using GMO corn to get their erythritol. So Sherry, what brand of erythritol do you use now? You said you used another brand that's organic. Does it include stevia and erythritol in the product? And what product is that? Anyway, so that's what I think of the keto trend. I think that, you know, the gravitating away from keto products, away from products that are marketed toward low carb, that is going to be our most productive approach for doing everything. So just sticking with real food, just eat real food, or what, like we say, jerf, just eat real food, right? They still can't believe that my omelet wasn't keto. Yeah, Vengeance made an omelet. If you look in the group, he posted a picture of this keto omelet that he made. And he used some vegan Mexican cheese because he thought that lactose would just be sugar, right? But vegan Mexican cheese uses starches, which turn to sugar. So you're better off just using real cheese. And real cheese, real cultured cheese that doesn't have starch in it. Like, you shred your own sharp cheeses like cheddar and Romano and Parmesan, whatever cheeses that you like to use, pepper jack, whatever, but you use your own real cultured cheeses. Thank you for all the hearts and thumbs up, guys. All of that helps us to get more visibility on Facebook. Also, I will be giving away a book. You guys know I have a list of books in the description for this video. So if you would like to get any one of those books and you haven't captured a book from me in the last 4 weeks, I wanted to let Wanda know. Wanda was the one who won the book last week. And who won the coaching session with Dan last week? Let's see. Who was that? That was, come on, I'm working on it here. Missy Moneypenny won a coaching session with Dan last week. And Wanda, I will be sending your book out this week. I'm sorry I didn't get it out this last week. Lena says, at first I used processed low-carb products, not any longer. I know better now. I've done my research and educated myself. You know what? We did this one video a few weeks back called That's Not Keto. And we like broke down with screenshots of ingredients lists and stuff. And if you look at a lot of these low-carb products, they're just loaded with stuff that's just weird. And it's not only not keto, a lot of it's just not food. So, yeah, I'm glad to hear that, Lena. That's a great bonus there. So yeah, if you share this video out to anyone who you think really needs to refine their keto approach, someone who maybe they use a lot of processed keto or low carb foods, they use a lot of diet products or something like that, I want to talk specifically about, not specifically about doctrine, but specifically about like where you're at in your keto approach and what is a thing that may be tripping you up that you're struggling to get rid of. So like for me, my vice, and I've talked to you guys a number of times about this, like my vice is the sugar-free rock stars. I'm just gonna be straight with you. I've said it many times before. The sugar-free rock stars, and I don't have them very often anymore. Like maybe twice in a week on a bad week, and once a week on a not quite as bad. and I have a good week where I don't have anything. So I've been trying to actually get myself to where I'm going with no sweeteners whatsoever, including like the dark chocolate, including using Truvia, including using stevia. I've been I've been having my Keto Raid drink. If you look up on YouTube, I've got the original Keto Raid recipe up on my BroBryceHealth YouTube channel. I posted that years back, and I use that along with a little no salt in there for a potassium supplement. And I've even been like leaving out the stevia in that. I've been having, sometimes I'll have my bulletproof coffee once or twice a week. And when I do that, I'm skipping the sweetener most of the time on those. So Diet Coke is the only vice you have left. Bag says pure organic stevia, organic erythritol stevia. Okay, pure. Got it from where I gleaned. Does not bother my tummy like the Truvia brand did. Yeah, I've been dealing with some, since I went carnivore, I've been dealing with, I thought you guys might like to know this, some interesting side effects. And I've been noticing some particular flare-ups in some of my chronic pain. And some of you may know that years back, I had just debilitating, crippling chronic pain. I literally could not work. I couldn't do any kind of real physical activities. And in fact, many times when I would show up to a social thing or go to church even, when I show up and I would start working on stage setups or something like that, people would see me limping and they go, well, what's wrong with you? You know, how you doing today? You know, so hey, welcome back, Jackson. Welcome to the stream. I see we got some trolls playing in the stream. So Vengeance is handling that. Thank you, Vengeance, for that. Jackson's in the stream there. So yeah, you can't stand pop any longer. Yeah, you know, and you know, whether or not, hey, David, welcome to the stream. You know, whether or not you use like Diet Coke or, you know, like I'm talking about, you know, sugar-free Rockstar, is that something that you feel like you would do better to get rid of? Is there something that you are including in your diet currently? I mean, everybody knows it's like one step at a time, right? Some of the stuff will just naturally fall away. Your cravings for it will fall away, or you'll just feel just like you'll feel some kind of conviction that, you know what, I could do better for my health than this one thing, whatever that thing is, right? I made a decision that nuts don't need to be a part of my life, that vegetables don't necessarily need to be a part of my life, unless I feel like I need to just poop a whole lot more. Because I find that when I'm, you know, eating lots of vegetables, I just, you know, I find that the difference for me when I eat vegetables is just that it seems like I'm running the Olympic pooping competition, you know, and I find that when I'm eating, I can say that because I'm comparing it to when I'm eating carnivore, where I'm literally, like, some days just not at all. So, I mean, you can really compare it to that. Jackson says, song of the day is Rain in May by Max Werner. Welcome to the stream. You're going to enjoy checking out some of Jackson's suggestions for songs later on after the stream. So, Vengeance says, I don't really like fizzy beverages. They hurt my belly and they give me gas and I can't work up the burps. Yeah. Oh my goodness. My dog's barking. Anyway, thank you for tuning in to the Beetle Barking Show. You don't miss pop, but you love unsweetened iced tea. I'm good with coffee, iced tea, water, and an occasional buy. Yeah, I love unsweetened iced tea. I love me some Gold Peak iced tea. I wish Gold Peak was more pure. I tend to stick with Stash Earl Grey tea. I love to make an iced Earl Grey tea. I find it very refreshing. Drink a soda once in a while. I also enjoy pink lemonade. Yeah, yeah, pink lemonade is definitely not keto. Let's see if I can silence my dog. She's a little bit freaky there. Iced tea is yummy. Yes, I find that unsweetened iced tea is maybe the most refreshing. You only poop twice a week on keto, the new me. Yeah, and you know what's funny is when you only, you know, I know you guys, you're probably thinking, you know, how many times is it gonna say poop? Well, poop, 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 poop. So you can't really get on the scale too much when you do carnivore, for instance, because you know you just, you know what, you're full of crap. So you can't hear the dog? Well, great. Then I will just ignore the dog because she's being very noisy out on the deck right now. Crystal Light is it is sugar free, but let's just go over and have a look at Crystal Light. Crystal Light ingredients, and you know, everybody's got their own favorite sugar free thing. So we're looking at the ingredients on Crystal Light. And here we have it. We have citric acid, maltodextrin, which is just sugar. So maltodextrin has glycemic index higher than sugar. Aspartame, which of course everybody, you know, knows is just evil. I mean, you're gonna pick your poison, right? But I would say it's just the maltodextrin itself is, you know, that kind of disqualifies it in my book. But it depends on your, you know, where you're at. You know, like my wife still uses Splenda, and Splenda, the first ingredient is maltodextrin. The second ingredient is dextrose. Both of those things are just sugar. So it's kind of a, you know, where are you at currently? And you just basically make a decision as to where you're at versus where you want to be. It's all decisions. Wawa ni, like sit sugar free. Oh, it's an 80s music joke. Okay. When did this turn into the poop show? Vengeance says. Yeah, I know. Anyway, we can move on from that subject. So, diet products, I'm just basically kind of, I would just put it in a category of, that's probably something that is wise for me to avoid, to get away from eventually, right? If it's not right now for you, then is it going to be something that on the horizon? Is it something that you feel like, okay, it's not something that is causing you problems right now, and where do you want to be like a year from now? For instance, I just came to a place where I knew that peanuts are just not gonna fit into my way of eating. I needed to refine that. I needed to refine my approach. Really choosing to just eat animal products is really kind of simplified my life quite a bit. My food choices are simplified. It does mean that occasionally I'm staring into the fridge and looking at a lot of things that I can't have because the rest of the house, while they are doing keto, they are not doing carnivore. I am. And so, like, I see a lot of things. David, there's a great video. In fact, I will look it up right here and I'll get the link for you and I'll post it right here in the comments for you. Dr. Axe did a great blog post and video on peanuts and peanut butter. And I'm just going to look this up real quick. And I will post that. And that's basically like, I had already read a lot of things and I really wanted to have like a solid breakdown. And this little thing that I added just now, that is that's a real solid decision maker video. It helps you to make a decision on whether peanuts are for you or not. And maybe that they're okay for you. It may be that you're taking in just boatloads of omega-3s and it doesn't matter that much. But peanuts are extremely high. They are rated as extremely high. No measurable omega-3s. So extremely high on the omega-6 to 3 ratio. So for some people, they cause a lot of inflammation. Most peanut allergies are a result of some of the other issues, not regarding the inflammation part, but the inflammation may exacerbate those issues. Peanut allergies have more to do with mold and things like that. Not sure what just happened. Maybe somebody bumped the door there. Anyway, so yeah, peanuts have some particular problematic issues. Not just having to do with being pro-allergen, being an allergen. Just a little reminder for all of you, I can take Skype questions. So if you guys have keto specific Skype questions, you can call me on Skype, BroBryce. You can add me as a friend on Skype and I will answer the phone. But if you want to ramble on about various things non-keto related or non-nutrition or health related, I will just hang up on you. Let me see. Going back over here, just switching back and forth. You're still here, just very tired. All right. Anyway, you have walked away from peanuts. Yeah, I've even stepped away from almond butter, and almonds are pretty high on the omega-6 scale too. It's another one of those things that can skew your omega-6 to 3 ratio pretty badly. So I just try to, I mean, being now, going that extra step toward carnivore, that just sort of like ruled out that thing. So nuts and vegetables and those kind of things are kind of off the menu now for me. maybe I should clarify something here, because I've kind of like rambled on a little bit about carnivore. You know, some people say keto and carnivore, they're two different things. And I would say that carnivore is like the next step from, it's the next step of keto, not from keto, but it's like the next step of keto. It's like, it's as close to zero carb as you can possibly be. Period. I mean, outside of not eating anything, then, you know, there's, so the whole idea of a ketogenic approach is just any diet that forces your body to burn ketones for fuel instead of glucose. That is what ketogenic clinically means. So a carnivore diet is automatically keto by that definition. That's a weird typo, isn't it? I made a typo on one of these social things. There we go. Anyway, I fixed it. So what is your next step? What is the next thing that you feel like you need to move away from or move toward? What is the next place? I know that, you know, for me, it's been like a gradual thing. Like I gave up most keto goodies. I mean, I still like them. And on occasion, I might even eat, you know, some muffins or something like that, some keto muffins or a keto roll or something like that if I want to. But just as a general rule, I just basically say, you know, I only eat meat. Recently, I've been doing a lot of research about pork rinds, for instance, and I thought that this might be a good subject to bring up. It's not worthy of having its own video altogether, but we can. Lena says maintenance. I'm 10 to 15 pounds away from goal weight. So that's your next level up, right? Is maintenance. What do you plan to do for your maintenance approach? You need to be more deliberate about intermittent fasting. Okay. I was doing a little research on pork rinds, and I found a podcast post by Keto Evangelist. The Keto Evangelist podcast, in case you guys haven't ever heard it, you should check it out. That's Brian Williamson. He's the guy who runs KetoCon in Austin, Texas. The problem with pork rinds that most people seem to have is they think that they're all fat. So it's all fat. So pork rinds are just fat, right? And there's no need to just eat fat, right? Now they're all about, you know, we can eat bacon. Like all we want, right? That's like everybody who's getting into keto. It's like, oh, you can eat all the bacon you want, right? Bacon has cooked bacon has an equal macro of protein and fat. So, you know, a gram of protein per gram of fat typically for cooked bacon. So, you know, you can eat as much bacon as you want, right? Everybody says that when you're first starting keto, bacon and eggs every day or whatever. But when it comes to pork rinds get this reputation of, oh, it's all fat, right? And I don't need to eat something that's just fat. Well, look again at your nearest package of pork rinds, okay? Your typical package of pork rinds has per serving 5 grams of fat and 8 to 10 grams of protein. Now, many pork rind packages will say that it's not a significant source of protein, or it's not a relevant source of protein, or whatever it says. But the reason why is because it is not a complete protein. So a protein is a chain of amino acids. A complete protein contains all of the different amino acids that are essential or non-essential. And specifically, pork rinds lack just a few of the essential amino acids and several of the non-essential amino acids. So it's not a complete protein. However, it's still this many grams of protein. It's still a protein, and you still count it. It still counts toward the building blocks of human life. It may not be as high quality of a protein as, say, a ribeye steak or some fresh meat or something, but it's still a protein, and it's still a source of bioavailable protein. So I think that it's possible that you could get, there may be a better source of non-perishable protein that you could include. Maybe you could look up Stephen Finney's recipe for pemmican, for instance. Lena says she wants to incorporate intermittent fasting and counting macros. I will say that not everybody needs to count macros, but it is a super useful tool. And especially if you're wondering if there's something wrong, if there's something going wrong, I'm not losing weight at the rate that I'd like to, or you're really like you say, you're 10 to 15 pounds away from your goal weight. Counting macros may really hammer out the details of what it takes to get right down to the last pound of your goals. So while it's not necessary, everybody needs to. It's not necessary that everybody needs to count macros. In fact, many people just don't do it. I don't. I used to. When I first started out, I really needed to figure out how it worked, and it is. I feel like it's an essential tool, honestly, in your utility belt, your keto utility belt, to really refine your skill as a keto hunter-gatherer in your refrigerator. Vengeance says, what's a keto muffin? And hot and spicy pork rinds are delicious. Here's the problem with hot and spicy pork rinds. You're better off to make your own. So just take some regular pork rinds, drown them in some butter, and then cover them with whatever spices that you like and a little bit more salt maybe. Because typically hot and spicy pork rinds contain monosodium glutamate, and some of them contain modified food starch as well. That's so that the stuff sticks. You have to count and track, otherwise you have carb creep. That's what I'm talking about, Lena. That really is like the definition of what we're talking about, upping your keto game, really. For some people, they just need to learn how it works, and counting really helps you to get that down. And for other people, they know for themselves that if they don't count, then they're going to allow certain things in a little more. Like, remember I was talking about last week even, 1 or 2 squares of chocolate quickly becomes, hey, we have a Skype call here. So I'm going to pick this up here. James, a little reminder, you are on the air, and we don't have your video, and we're going to talk about keto and nothing but keto, right?
Right. Let me turn my volume down on my phone. I wanted to ask, what's the difference between paleo and keto?
Hang on a second. I somehow got your... somehow I'm capturing your chat here in the middle of my thing. So I'm going to take that off there. There we go. Hey, what was that?
I wanted to ask, what's the difference between keto and paleo?
I am going to look that up here just for the sake of giving you a more accurate answer here. So mostly it has to do with the carb count. Paleo does not necessarily focus on carbohydrates. On paleo, you can eat fruits. On paleo, you can eat more nuts and seeds. Paleo is still generally grain-free. There's a lot more focus on gluten-free. But Paleo does not focus on sugars per se. So honey, for instance, is safe to eat on paleo, whereas it's definitely not on keto because it's not, because keto is specifically focusing on blood sugars, right?
Yeah.
So as you're dealing with the blood sugars, you're avoiding every single possible thing that might spike your blood sugar, and instead of that, on paleo, they are specifically focusing on just getting back to natural foods. Okay.
Okay.
So that's really the difference. So keto diet, I'm on a site right now called ketosummit.com. I will put that link right here, and it'll be on the Facebook chat. I'll drop it there, and then I will go over to the YouTube side and drop it there as well, so that we can all have this conversation. A quick summary of the difference. So focus on ketone levels. A keto diet focused on raising your body's ketone levels by altering your food choices so you enter a metabolic state called nutritional ketosis. Paleo diet doesn't pay attention to ketone levels. That's why they don't have to focus on blood sugars, because getting the blood sugars down, that's how you get into a ketogenic state. A paleo diet focuses strongly on choosing whole foods that are nutrient dense, high quality, and free from toxins. So like I said, getting back to natural foods, whole foods, instead of refined products or even processed meats, for instance. You just go back to natural foods in their natural state. Keto diet is very low carbohydrate, and a paleo diet tends to be lower in carbohydrates than a standard American diet, definitely, but it is still not considered a low carb diet per se, because it's really not low carb enough to deprive your body of glucose. It really just isn't, especially like on paleo, you can eat honey, which is just sugar. So and Sherry is pointing out she was paleo before keto, didn't help me health-wise either, or didn't help me health-wise much. And I was never paleo. I never followed paleo. First off, I don't think that any of us were there during the Paleolithic phase, so we really can't say what man ate during the Paleolithic period, if there was a Paleolithic period, because we weren't there. So how do we know? Anyway.
So it's not really similar. It's just sort of.
It's kind of a level up from the standard American diet. It's like you're moving in the right direction, right? You know what I'm saying? You're moving in the right direction. Paleo, it's like I like to say, hopefully the next thing that you do sucks less than the last thing that you did. So if you're eating a standard American diet and you switch to paleo, you're like 10 million times better than the rest of the world that's eating standard American diet. However, if you go from paleo to keto, you're even making a further dedication to your health. You're making an even stronger statement in your health care through food. So that's my opinion. Is it's basically a level up. There's different levels of this, and like Dr. Barry was talking about, when he first went from the standard American diet, or as he likes to call it, the stupid American diet, or the stupid Australian diet. He goes from the stupid American diet to paleo, and he felt like that just made a tremendous difference in his life. And then he noticed that while it was an improvement, it needed to be more. So yeah, Sherry says whole healthy foods, no grains, but still get potatoes, yams, honey, some quinoa and such. Yeah, so you can have starches, you just can't have grains.
Sugar.
So nothing of modern agriculture is involved in paleo. So does that answer your question?
Yeah. Also, my brother, he used to do something that was called the caveman diet. I'm not sure if you ever heard of that.
Caveman diet is very similar to keto. It's very close to being keto. Yes.
Yeah. He did it back in high school. I just thought I would throw that in there.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you for the question.
Definitely.
All right. I will catch you later.
All right.
Bye. All right. Thank you, James, for the great question. That is actually a real common question. People say, so is that keto thing? Is that Atkins? Is that is that paleo? So just so you guys know, there's a clarification that I like to make between Atkins and keto per se. While I do believe that the Atkins diet is a ketogenic diet in that it is low carb enough to induce a ketogenic state, is not what we would call a typical orthodox keto, because especially the new Atkins, they talk about reintroducing grains into your diet. But if you go back to the day when like Robert C. Atkins wrote the first Atkins Diet Revolution, that book was, you know, definitely you would say that's keto, but it was much more protein centric. You do really well on strict Atkins. I would say, yeah, if you're going to do strict Atkins, like stick to like the core foods and don't reintroduce anything. But David, I could give you a food list that if you just ate those foods in the way that it is, then yeah, the first book was definitely the best. I do give away a lot of the new Atkins for a New You book, and the reason why is because of who authored it, and I do make some definite caveats for. I sent out one of the original first editions of the Atkins book. But this is authored by Eric Westman, Stephen Finney, and Jeff Volek. All my books that I give away are thrift store finds, so you know they may be used or anything. Anybody who shares this video is in the running for being selected randomly for a book giveaway if you haven't won anything from me for the last 4 weeks. But the new Atkins for New You, one of the things that they talk about is, reintroducing whole grains. Atkins is about eating delicious and healthy foods, a variety of protein, leafy greens, and other vegetables, nuts, fruits, and whole grains. I think that for the starters, if you're starting out Atkins or keto, you should avoid fruits, and whole grains should never be a part of your diet. I've seen plenty of evidence for that. But why they choose to reintroduce that, I don't know. I think the Atkins Corporation has sold out to modern agriculture, because I see a lot of soy and grain in a lot of their new products, especially. Thank you for checking in, Lena. I appreciate you coming in, and we will see you again soon. Yes, and then that was a great question, James. I appreciate it very much. So the object of this particular talk, and we have about 10 minutes left before I got to sign off of here, but I do want to let you guys know, if you do share this video out, if you share it in a group or share it to your friend's timeline or something like that, make sure you put in the comments here on YouTube or Twitch or Facebook that you shared this video and you're in the running for winning a book. And the list of books is in the description for the video. If you haven't already checked that out, up at the very top, the description of the video has all of the book titles that I'm giving away today. So I will, if you share this video, I will pick one random winner to send a book off to this week. Yeah, Vengeance, that was great, man. That's a great question. I appreciate you bringing that up. And I'm glad we were able to do a Skype call. I just got to remember to get that, fix that window thing. Suddenly it just covered up the thing, and it was like a piece of Skype window up in the screen. That was funny. Anyway, so what is the next thing that you are gonna try to get rid of out of your cupboards or out of your refrigerator? So we'll go through some of that. Maybe you've already cleaned out all of the things out of your cupboards, but I know that a lot of us live with people who eat things that we don't eat, and there maybe is something that you're working on. Maybe the way that you're going to level up your journey is to, you know, get to where you're talking to other people about it, or you're sharing it with other people, or you figured out a new way to approach the topic when it comes up in conversation. Because for me, you know, my approach is not going to be the same approach. You're going to get rid of Doritos. Well, you know what? That'd be like the first thing that I get rid of. Because first off, there's just tons of, well, there's corn. The chips are made of corn and grain and starches. But there's also other stuff in the coating of the chips that's problematic. But yeah. And, you know, Vengeance, you have autism, and I don't know if you watched The Magic Pill, but they dealt specifically with autism and how a ketogenic approach, eating primarily meat and vegetables, leafy green or non-starchy vegetables, cruciferous vegetables, eating primarily meat and vegetables seem to help a lot with autism. You have to get your daughter keto and get her non-keto stuff out of the house certain times of the month. It's such a battle, especially when you guys get in sync, right? I'm sure. I know I live with 2 women, so there are times. But we don't have anything non-keto in the house anymore. Well, except that they sometimes have wine. But I'm never tempted with wine. Heard that you have kidney problems, so you can't have too much protein. So, you know, Vengeance, I've talked about my mother-in-law. She had 13% kidney function. She eats more meat and fat than she's ever had in her life, and she's got her kidney function back. So I can't speak to that professionally as a health professional, but I can say that you know, we do have this one n equals 1. N equals 1, meaning that's an experiment on one person, a self-experiment. Dave Evans says, I want to get salty foods out of my diet. Sorry, salt is not the problem. David Evans, I would recommend that you look up a book called The Salt Fix and really learn about salt. For instance, in ancient civilizations, they ate anywhere from 1,200 milligrams to 4,800 milligrams. So that's 12 grams to 48 grams of salt a day. And they had much longer lifespans and much lower instances of cardiovascular disease. So today, as many people have decreased heart attack risk or heart cardiovascular event risk from reducing their salt intake as those who have increased their salt intake. So salt is not a factor in cardiovascular risk at all. It's not, and in fact, many of us who have deprived ourselves of salt, we are losing fluid like a sieve. And so we're washing away electrolytes in our body because we are not holding on to fluids as much as we should. Thank you, Vengeance, for coming in. I appreciate it. Yeah, Vengeance, my mother-in-law's nephrologist freaked out when I told her what I was feeding her. Because her kidney function had gone up from 13% to 50% to, from 45% to 59% to 65%. And all she has to go by is the labs. And I just, you know, show her what I'm feeding her. She eats like Spam and eggs and tons of chicken and beef and stuff like that. So she's eating more meat and fat than she's ever seen in her entire life. Yeah, just go real stuff. Yeah, get some pink Himalayan salt. And since it's not iodized, you can get like Lugol's drops. You can get like a year's worth of iodine for like, I don't know, it's something like $12 or something like that. And then for potassium, you can supplement with no salt, which is light salt. Hilariously, some of us doing keto use light salt along with tons and tons of regular salt. Go figure, right, David? Someone told you to get rid of salt, and they were wrong. I wish I could pronounce the guy's name. Let me write this down here. The Salt Fix. Google this, and I'm going to put a link in the. I'll put a link in here. The Salt Fix. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a link right here in. Right here in the chat for the Salt Fix. All right. Just looking this up. Salt Fix is a great book by a, come on. My Lugol's just came today. I need it because my hands are cold now. You're always still tired. You know, your hands might be cold from a reduced calories. So you may actually find that because you're shorting yourself so many calories, if you up your calories just a little bit, like cut down on your caloric deficit just a little bit, it may be that you can get rid of some of that coldness. Just putting that out there. One second while I'm getting this link for the Salt Fix. Oops. There we go. I'm going to put it in the Twitch stream here. Put it over here on the Facebook side. And put it over here on the YouTube side. There we go. So we are in the last minute, and I just want to remind everybody that that's my alarm going off telling me it's 5 o'clock. I want to remind everybody that if you share this video out, you are in the running for me sending you off a free book if you're in the United States. If you're not in the United States, I will still send you a free book, but here's how that works. You have to come to my house, and I will deliver it free of charge to my front door so that you can have the book free of charge. So if you are in the United States and you share this video out, make sure that you say that you shared it in the chat, and I will pick a random winner a little later on this evening, and and I will message you that you have been chosen for a book. Thank you, Sherry, for sharing. And that's it. We're at 5 o'clock. So thank you guys for tuning in. I want to please remind you guys, if you can, to pay attention to the links over there on the right side. We have my YouTube and Facebook and Twitch BroBryceHealth link there. We have the BroBryce Cooks on YouTube, Pinterest, Facebook, and Instagram and Twitch. And then we have BroBryce on Facebook and Twitter. If you subscribe to this video on YouTube, please make sure that you click that bell notification after you click subscribe. Get subscribed, hit the bell notification, and you'll get notified whenever I think up something intelligent to say. You're behind on reading, so you don't need a book. Right. And if you decide that you like these, like to support my cause of doing this as much as I can, I want to do this for free. I do need to make ends meet though. So if you would like to help with that so that I can spend more time making videos like this, please consider checking out my patreon.com/BroBryce page and throw me a couple bucks. And y'all have a great day. I will see you next week at 4 p.m. on Sunday for another live chat right here on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.
Turn. Now not only does she look so hot, they can also feel the burn. The temperature is rising and the sprinklers turn on. The time I saw what happened in my mind, it will come true, though before long. I'm not blind, girl, I must confess. You could scorch muffins if you touch them when you wear your evening dress. I need a glass of water, I need fresh air. I tried to get some loving, but the room is like an oven when you're in here. Where the smoke, there's fire, that's what I was taught. And you prove the theory very clearly when you look so smoking hot. With the fireproof gloves on, maybe we could touch. But I've learned that I don't wanna be burning you away too dangerous. I'm not blind, but I must confess. You could scorch muffins if you touch them when you wear your evening dress. I need a glass of water, I need fresh air. I try to get some love, but the room is like an oven when you're in here. Yeah.